some with some negative ways of my understanding. Because
my understanding, it means that you understand someone negatively or pretend you.
I regard these definition as negative. I try to avoid conflicts. I hate them because they make me nervous and so on. But I understand, and I heard a lot that conflicts can be positive and can influence in a good way.
Positive conflict, something new to me. Well, tell me then, Olga, what have you heard about positive conflict? Because the word conflict, I guess, has even just negative connotation just by itself. Okay, so it doesn't bring any positive memories. It doesn't bring anything. Okay, so conflict has good memories. I met the boy. I didn't like him, and we had a lot of conflict. But then I fell in love with him. So that's a good memory about conflict. So was that?
That's a great story.
Is it an example of a positive conflict or?
For me, a positive conflict is that ends up with a happy end and learns us something.
Teaches
us something new, useful, and so on. And there is some Russian proverb: in quarrels the truth arises. I don't I'm not sure I spell it correctly, but I hope you understand.
Translated, I would say the truth arises in the quarrel. That would be.
Yeah, because it's my interpretation of Russian text. And I think that's true, and I meant this meaning talking about positive conflict, first of all.
Oh, so by positive conflict, you say the result, the way of getting out of the conflict. So what is the result at the end, right?
Sure. And also in business, when people have different points of view, so it's a kind of conflict. And when they respect each other's point of view and they try to discuss them, and it can lead to some creative salvation, some
resolution.
Solution, and new thing.
Such as? So okay, some you mean new things like in business or in work, or like, I see. Well, let me update Loka about what we are talking about, because I know that she had some problems with her internet connection. So Loka, Olga said very interesting thing to me, that conflicts, that she heard that conflicts can be positive, and I was trying to understand what does she mean by saying positive conflict, and she said that positive conflict for her is the conflict with a happy ending. Have you heard about anything like positive conflict? And if yes, how do you understand that?
Well, maybe it familiar or similar to uh, how should we say, like when how is critica translated into English?
Critics?
Critics, yeah. For example, there are criticizing. There is negative criticizing, and there is like positive, and there is destructive criticizing.
Constructive,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. So conflict can be also constructive. So when there is conflict of interest, for example, or assumptions, and we can it depends on how the person how the parts behave themselves and what they want to get as a result, and if they want only uh, mm, to поддержать
To
their point of
maintain, to
main not to their point of view, how should I say,
support, поддержать.
to support only if they want only to support their point of view and to move it forward, and then this conflict won't be positive and it won't be constructive. And if parts are interested in getting understanding each other's.
Well, no, what you're saying is not a conflict, in my opinion. If parts want to understand each other, it means they're not in like no. When they already want to understand each other, it means that they overcame the period of conflict and they're trying to make it up.
Okay, maybe
No?
they
No?
wanted first to be understood by other part correctly. Sometimes,
Okay, but my question: have you heard about positive conflict? Because what is positive conflict to you, for example? Positive.
positive,
Heard
I would
about
say it constructive.
constructive.
I would
Okay,
change it to constructive conflict.
I see. Okay. It's funny, there are three of us, and we all have absolutely different opinions about conflicts. To me, conflicts are destructive. They destroy my inner me, and I hate them. Conflicts in any type of conflict, but I understand that sometimes they are inevitable. So, how do you think? Is it possible? Are there conflicts which are inevitable?
Family conflicts, for example.
You think they are inevitable?
Absolutely. Conflicts between parents and children. No, how come?
Okay.
Of course. Of course,
Painful
for
topic.
sure. Everyone has it.
Okay, yes. I'm a child still. I have parents and I have a lot of conflicts with them, yes.
Yeah, me too. And
Still.
I have a child, and I already have conflicts with him.
Yeah, not already. Not still, already, yes. Me too. Okay.
I think conflicts are just inevitable things a priori, because we all are very different. Every person has his own understanding of life, their own values, and I just can't imagine two как одинаковых.
The same, two same what?
Нет, еще какой-то есть. Two similar persons who has just similar interests and values. Okay, it happens that some people have something.
In this case, you should say identical, not similar. Similar, it's like almost like a different person, but not the same. You can say same to same people or identical, right? Like одинаковый, да, прям.
So I think it happens that some people have something in common, but not everything. So it's impossible to have everything identical with somebody, and it's normally to have some conflicts of interests or values between people who met, who communicate, live together, and the closer people together. What? The closer people are to each other, the more inevitable conflicts between them.
Okay, so you think it's difficult to avoid conflicts if people are very close because they know each other very well and there are less boundaries, right?
Yes, and when couples say there are no conflicts between them, they
lie.
I'm truly sure that they just they just
you can ask the question.
indifferent to each other. They don't have some passion or affects to each other. So they just have nothing.
When we talk about when people have been together for many years, what passion are we talking about? Passion is something that happens first few years, then it fades away a little bit. So let's be honest. That passion is a chemical reaction.
I think there is no senses between them. So they don't feel.
You mean feelings?
Yes, they don't feel anything to each other in this case.
Maybe they are one of them is so wise and is so flexible, and this person wants to keep the peace inside of the little family or inside of this couple, and this person does like everything to avoid the conflict. Maybe this person has a psychological trauma from the childhood, being in dysfunctional family or something like that. So can you imagine this situation? And it could be the other side, the side of the sign of big love, when person is sacrificing everything just to avoid the conflict with the person he or she loves. No?
Well, Polina, I guess you mean something narrower in meaning of conflict.
Well, we started talking about couples, so right now, yes, of course. But by conflict, I mean by conflict, it's not only in between in a couple. It can happen everywhere.
No. Just the meaning of conflict, not depending on between whom. The conflict is the thing that when people have differences between each other. So it may be positive or negative. It depends on the behavior of the participants. So I mean a wider in this meaning. I mean,
that was my first question.
differences.
Remember, what is the conflict?
Yeah. And because I took part in the special course named Positive Conflicts from American University, and they explained the meaning, and I was shocked, because I always thought and regard the conflict as something negative, like you now.
Yes.
But the meaning truly is wider.
So explain us then, what is the conflict then? It's the differences between people. They can be positive and negative, just differences.
It is a difference that they talk about. It's difficult to explain even in Russian. Not only in English, but I'll try. So, for example, you say you like relaxed holiday, but your partner prefers very active, very active spending of holidays, and that is a conflict of interests. It doesn't mean that you quarrel with each other. You just have something different between you, and you can quarrel. You can cry to each other, and this turns out to be negative. But on the otherwise, you can sit in a calm way and talk it over, and make to some compromise conclusion. And it is also is a conflict, but very constructive and positive. Do you understand me?
I do. I do. I understand you.
Ой, так, я пыталась включить микрофон. Yes, I understand you totally, but to me it's not even a conflict, it's a way of getting out of the conflict. It's like the conflict resolution. That's the next part. Maybe, as you said, my understanding of conflict is very narrow, but what I understand by conflict is when two people disagree on something. It could be anything, okay, but they disagree, they have different opinions on something, and sometimes they fight, sometimes they argue, sometimes they have a dispute, right? So they disagree. And the next stage, when they trying to find the way how to get out of the conflict, that's the conflict resolution. So to me, it's not already a conflict, it's like the way of going out. So here these two people, they are trying to find a way to live in peace. Okay.
Yes, but it's normal that people can disagree to each other, but it also can be in a different ways. So I maybe disagree with you, but I respect your opinion, and is ready to go to some compromise, or just let you alone without any stressful things like crying, make some sins, and so on. So it can be some a solution that could be suitable for every of us.
For what?
Excuse me.
I didn't understand the last word you said. Sorry.
So we can
It could be a solution.
anyway we can find some solution that
For any of us, you said.
it could be suitable for any of us. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure. So, girls, tell me, can you remember your first conflict ever?
First,
Yes.
oh, it was in my early childhood. I conflicted every time with my poor parents. I was very awful child, awful child. I cried just without stop. I had
Do you remember yourself crying? Really? Do you remember that?
yes, I remember. I remember me in a very very early childhood, about 1.5 year old.
Wow.
And I always had some independent opinion on everything, on everything. But I just couldn't go to any compromise.
Compromising was not for you at 1.5
Yeah.
years. I wonder if there is such a child who can compromise at 1.5 years. I want to meet the child then. Luaka, what about you? Can you remember your first conflict?
Well, I don't remember exactly my first conflict, but I do remember well that I quarreled a lot with my elder brother, and we were fighting all my childhood till I
Why?
grew
Do you
up.
remember why you were fighting with your brother? What was the reason of fighting?
I believe that I disturbed him doing what he wanted to do, and he just wanted me to go away, and maybe he pushed me, and then I pushed him, and then we got fighting. So all that stuff, and then I cried and ran to my mom saying, mommy, save me, please,
Yes, he's bad.
again and again.
How many years?
Yeah.
What is the difference between you? How many years?
Almost 5 years.
5 years. Okay. Yeah, I have the same. I have two brothers, and my second brother is also 5.5 years older than me. And yes, but we had a lot of conflicts. But our conflicts were like we couldn't share the same territory. Problems. Like I wanted to use bathroom, he wanted to use bathroom. I needed to use I don't know, kitchen. He needed to use kitchen, and we couldn't survive at the same territory. So it was a disaster. It was.
No,
But I remember
we
one of my. Sure, go ahead.
No, we didn't have like territory conflicts. We had some, I don't know, misunderstanding or something like that. And my elder brother was not like very kind person. He could really joke on me, right? Can I say so? Yeah, in a
But
rather.
what do you mean joke on me? Play jokes on you, or like
Yeah. He played a lot of jokes on me, and he
like bad
laughed
jokes or funny?
bad jokes, really bad jokes, and it was very like I was crying and I was offended by them a lot, and it was обидно. How should I say?
Offensive.
Offensive, yeah. That jokes were really offensive, and he was laughing all the time. I still remember that. So
Yeah. So children. Everybody says that children are the most cruel people. So I remember one of my first conflicts. It was with my aunt. And I was not very big, but it was Soviet Union, and in Soviet Union, if you remember, there were not so many toys. In Детский мир, there was a beautiful doll on sale, and the price of this doll was 10 rubles. Well, because I begged for this doll, everyone, my mom, and I don't know why I decided that my aunt will have enough money to buy this doll for me. And we went to Детский мир, and which is not, which was not typical me. And she hit me. She hit me, and she was shaking me. You know, she shook me, and she said that I should stop. And I already started, you know, being crazy. And I remember that very well. And I remember that feeling that I was not right. You know, that it was all artificial conflict. But I remember it still.
Oh.
How I wanted this doll.
And how old were you?
I don't remember. I think no, I don't remember. But I think it was before school because I wanted a doll, so I guess I didn't go to school.
Yeah, maybe it was in kindergarten age.
Yeah, something like that. Because it was, you know, I don't know, it was just a usual doll. There were thousands of dolls like that in Soviet Union. There were no other dolls. All dolls, they looked similar. Very well how
Yeah,
she was shaking me, how she was yelling at me, and I remember that. So, and I guess it was one of my first conflicts. So, okay, as we know, while we grow, the conflicts are different. And so, how do you think? What kind of conflicts can take place at school?
Well, I think there are two, maybe three types of conflicts that can happen at school. The first time is between teacher and the student. The the second one is
Pupil.
pupil, yeah. And the second one is among pupils. The third one among teachers. So,
I actually haven't really thought about it, about teachers. Nobody thinks
of
about
course,
teachers.
Of course. Teachers and an administration of the school. I think that's
Okay. Well, I would say it's a conflict at work, right? But if we talk about children, so yes, you're right. The conflict between children and teachers, and the conflict between children. But what kind of conflicts can happen between children? Well, it's pretty obvious what kind of conflicts can happen between teachers and children. We all were there, I guess. And but what about children? Right now, there are some conflicts in school. News, we all read news on the internet, and there are some very cruel conflicts. Have you heard of it?
Oh, well, if using the types of conflicts from the article one, I would say there are conflicts of relationships, interests, values, leadership, personality. Almost every type of conflict can be between pupils,
yeah, children.
Even ethics.
Ethics,
yeah.
I don't think children think about being ethical at this age. I don't think they really care about it.
It depends on the age, yeah, because
and the family.
At my childhood, I were in a pioneer organization, and it can be ethic conflicts easily.
So you were a pioneer, Oля?
Yeah, I was.
For how many years?
Well, I don't remember exactly. 2 or 3.
How old are you?
Yes. 37. I'm 37.
Okay. So Yeah, I was a pioneer as well, but I was trying to remember how many years I was pioneer. I don't remember, but I'm 38, so I'm older than you, just 1 year older. So I guess I was. Yeah, I don't remember that it played such a big role in my life being a pioneer.
Really? It influenced my childhood very much.
Really? How? You were trying to
I
be a good girl?
I was proud to be a pioneer. I was I uh, hmm. I came to this organization for the first wave. Or
Заход?
I don't
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to explain.
Okay, so you were the one in the first group.
Yes, and
I would say that because usually a class, a grade is divided into 2 or 3 groups, and you were in the first group who
yes,
entered the pioneer.
uh,
Oh wow,
and
really? Wow.
and this took place in Lenin's bibliothèque,
Libraries.
Lenin's library, and it was very it was cool, very cool.
Sure. Do you remember the vow you gave when you entered the pioneer organization?
Excuse me.
The vow. Do you remember the vow? The vow.
I don't know what.
Клятва пионера. Vow, клятва.
No, no, I don't remember it at all. But
Okay.
regarding conflicts, we had 2 boys in our class. They were with bad behaviors, and they always denied to behave correctly in the meaning of pioneer organization, and we hated them for this.
Of course.
So I think it may be called ethic conflicts, more or less.
Okay. Well, to me, ethic conflicts is what actually was described in the article, like saying something that shouldn't be said about some other people, what should be kept to yourself or to this to the patient or to the student, for example, something like that. I see.
Well, sorry. Nowadays, there is also maybe some ethic conflict between children of different religion, because nowadays we live in multi-religion society.
Multi-religious.
So it can be multi-religious society.
Yeah. Multi-cultural, multinational, multi-religious
Yeah,
society.
absolutely.
So, but do you think that those conflicts that were in school, like you said, that personality, ethics conflicts, interests, and so on and so forth, um, do you think the same conflicts can take place at work or at family? Differ from what happened? Do they really differ from what happened at school? Yes, but the type of conflict, do they change?
I think conflict is something stable, and
Pretty much.
people, in general, people stay children all their life long.
Especially men, right?
In,
Ha
in
ha ha.
in general, so maybe some they change their opinions, they change well, the stones of conflict changed, but not types of them.
The reason of conflict, right? You mean the reason of conflict.
The reasons can be changed, but not styles of conflicts.
I see. Loco, what do you think about that?
Can you repeat the question? I've got a call now. And I missed a part of the talking. I'm sorry.
So we were talking about the type of conflicts can be which can take part at school, can take place at school, and I said whether these conflicts change throughout the life, like at work or in a family, different types of conflicts, or basically people grow and they still have the same conflicts as they had when they were at school.
It's not an easy question because,
Of course, it's
actually,
not an easy topic.
Yeah, it's not an easy topic, is neither, right? But well, to my mind, conflicts change with time. For example, while at school they were rather primitive. For example, I think most conflicts consist of like teasing each other, when children just tease each other a lot, and of course we don't do the same at work when we're already adults.
Really? You think
the same way now?
Well, not the same way, of course.
In another way, yeah, but it depends on the adult. If it is a real adult, like it is a logical way, then he won't tease, But if he was 10 years old, then he is 30 years old, but his mentality, his head is the same. Of course, he will do the same. You do understand what I mean?
As Oля said, we all stay children. We all stay children all our life inside of us. So we may look like adults, but we still have our inner child inside of us. So
I don't think so. Well, inner child can be like a part of us that we can kill, or we can survive inside of us. It depends on the person. But our psychica,
our psychological state, I would say.
Psychological state can differ, because it is one stage when we're children, and it is completely another stage when we're adult, and between them there are adults, and between them there are more stages. For example, stage of a teenager, or stage of a person, юноша.
A teenager, yes, okay, youngster,
yeah. So at different stages, it is different. These are different stages of your state of mind, right? And it depends, of course, and conflicts goes the same way. So they can be conflicts of adult people, or can be conflict as of children.
The idea, maybe I didn't express it correctly, but I said that the conflicts are actually the same, but the reasons are different. That's what Oля said. We still, for example, have leadership conflicts, right? We have the same at work, and we have sometimes in a family, but the reasons are different. Okay, so that's why, we still have the same conflicts, but the reasons for these conflicts are different, and the way we get out of these conflicts also are different. So how do you think, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of a conflict?
Well, the advantage of a conflict, I think, it is obvious, because it's always a possibility of revealing yourself in a new way, in a better way. Any conflict can make you better, actually, and you
Really?
can. Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Okay. You're a good person
Yeah,
to
you
have a
can.
conflict with them.
Yeah, I try not to pass the responsibility to another person. So in every conflict, I'm looking for a reason where I'm not right with it. And if I don't
I'm
have,
a terrible.
if I don't see these points, and I understand that another person is the one who's completely, I just give it up and I stop communicating with that person. So, and this is disadvantage of a conflict, that due to them we can lose people. But at the same time, it is advantage, because you lose only wrong people. You don't lose right people.
But don't you think that sometimes you can
Right
lose
people.
too many? Like
No.
because due to some stupid conflict. There was a stupid conflict, and you were, for example, too emotional, and you had a fight with this person, and you said, okay, you're not my friend anymore. I don't want to be your friend. And then you understand that you lost a person, and the reason for the conflict was stupid.
And if you realize that, you can go and ask for
For forgiveness.
to ask to what? To
For forgiveness.
ask for forgiveness.
Well, kind of. I don't know
Yeah.
how else can
Yeah. Yeah, right. So
Okay.
if you realize that you were wrong and you were too emotional, you can go to that person and say, "Okay, I'm sorry. I understand I was too emotional. I said rude things. Please forgive me." And that.
Well, sometimes it doesn't work. For example, I had a situation in my life when
Mhm.
it didn't work. Okay, I was in a dancing competition. I've been dancing with my dancing partner for many years. It was actually our last competition together, and he made a mistake. Okay, I was very emotional. I yelled at him. Okay, literally yelled at him. I said he's an asshole, and I don't want to dance with him anymore. After one day, I calmed down. Okay, I called him. I said, "Hey, what's up?" when I'm sorry, I was too emotional. Let's start practicing again. And he said, "No, bye bye." And that's it. That was the end of
Well,
my dancing career.
I think maybe your asking for forgiveness was not.
Good enough.
Yeah, yeah. You just didn't work on it.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I should
just
have
thought
come with
you
ashes on
just
my
thought
head.
that as to my mind, as I hear it, you were too, or something like that.
You were too what?
Легкомысленный.
Light-hearted? No?
Light-hearted. That it's a little bit different. Легкомысленный. I'm just trying to think how to say that. Light-hearted, you can say when you leave something difficult behind and you go light-hearted, like light-minded, you can say. Light-minded.
Yes, light-minded.
Yeah,
My
Careless.
dictionary says.
yeah, light-minded. So you just didn't pay enough attention to your partner's feelings, and that's the point.
Okay.
As
Now I
as
feel
I
like a part
understand.
of psychology, psychotherapy, like a session with the I have problems. Help me. Well, okay. So, Olga, what do you think about advantages and disadvantages of conflict?
Well, I think it's not important to say about disadvantages. Everybody knows them. It's like destroying our nerves, our relationships, and so on. About positive side, I would say conflicts, if they are constructive, can teach us to be more polite, build our personality, develop us like persons, try to be more compassion, more respectful to another point of view. So they, in general, they can develop us
in a better
our
way, right?
personalities.
So tell me, I sit here, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, and you sound so smart, both of you. So it seems like you never lose your temper. You always control your feelings. You're trying to be very constructive in conflicts. Do you always behave like that, or sometimes you act like crazy and you can yell and you can be also emotional? Tell me, because right now I feel like I'm an idiot. I'm the only one who is emotional in conflict. And
Polina, I'm just the opposite of what you describing about me. I'm very impulsive. So it's very difficult to me to stop in the right moment and try to think about. I am more likely to yell on people, and just after some time I think and understand that I was wrong. It was not need strongly, it was not strong need to behave
there was
like
no
that.
need. There was no
That
need.
was no need to behave like that, and it almost always I regret about my actions. So
Do you
I'm
have
so smart just in
at that
theory.
speaking club? But do you have courage after all? For example, you've been emotional, you yelled at the person, and then you understand, oh my God, I was too hard on him or her, and I was wrong. But do you have enough courage to come and say, hey, listen, I was wrong, and I apologize? Do you? Because sometimes I even don't have enough courage to do that. And usually it happens with my husband, of course. Like I yell and then I think, oh God, why did I do that? But I'm stupid, I'm stubborn, and I say, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say sorry because that's me.
So I'm really stubborn, and before it was almost impossible for me to come to a person and ask for apologizing, but
Ask for forgiveness or to apologize.
ask for forgiveness, and I just couldn't apologize, but it always suffered me.
Suffered me.
I
What do you mean
suffered.
by suffered me?
I suffered because of situations like that, and little by little I overwhelm myself and learned to
Overwhelm is not a good word. Overwhelm это ну, как бы перегрузить, да? То есть ошеломить.
превозмогать.
I overcame. I got over. I got over the situation.
I got over myself and such situations, and little by little learned to apologize So now sometimes I can apologize just at the moment I analyze as I'm wrong. But sometimes it sometime will go before I I have got to to come and ask for forgiveness. But I do it anyway if
you move there. You slowly, step by step, but you go there.
Yes, and
to the wisdom.
If a person is valuable for me, if I respect him and gonna keep our relationship, I likely to go and apologize. But if a person is not so valuable, and I understand that I don't want to be in touch with him anymore, I can just forget about this.
Okay, and well, it's easy. You know, my mom, she says, do you want to be happy or you want to be right? Always try to keep this in my head. Do I want to be happy or I want to prove that I'm right? And sometimes I forget it.
Wonderful expression, I think.
Yeah, I like it. I like this expression very much. Yeah. I try to keep it in mind.
Right.
So.
I will even write it down now, not to forget.
Okay, I will say to my mom that she was a star today, and is very was very successful. But you know, it's true. It's true. What do you want to say? What do you want? Do you want to prove that you're right and to destroy everything that's around you, or just to be happy and just sometimes maybe step aside and let the person express his or her opinion? And difficult, you know,
That's
especially
my position
well,
all the time.
yeah.
Just to be happy.
You know, I can. Go ahead. Go ahead, Luca.
I'm saying that for me, it is not important to prove that I'm right. Not important at all. So I just can give it up. Let's do like you want to.
But you know, sometimes there are situations when someone is blaming you, okay? Someone blames you and say, "Oh, you did this wrong." You say, "No, I didn't."
Yes,
protect
of course.
yourself. And in this case, what is better? What's the better way to say, "Oh, okay, whatever. If you want to say so, up to you." Yes, I was not wrong. I was not right, and you know that it's not true. And in this case, person is happy. You are not very happy, but you don't care. But there is no big conflict, okay? There is no war around you. For example,
no.
it could.
That example, for example, I won't say that I was wrong if I know that I was right. I will say I'm right, I know it. You can do what you want to, and you can say what you want to, but I know that I'm right, and the rest is not important for me. Okay, let's stay each one on your own. Go do what we were going to.
It's good if the other person who is participating in this conflict to say, "Ah, yes, okay, I will keep my opinion to myself. You will keep your opinion to yourself, and you won't start, you know, yelling at each other like crazy." But I remember myself working in the office. I remember how everyone was trying to prove that they were right. And if we refer to the second article I provided you with, this this author recommended to have a paper trail, which is actually good. But sometimes, especially in a family conflict, there is no paper trail, and it's impossible to prove who was wrong and who was right.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Sometime I wanted to go with the dictaphone, with the record,
With the
to record
recorder.
what was, yeah, with the recorder to record what was my ex-husband talking about.
You
To
know what
remind him later.
my ex-boyfriend did? Every time we had the big fight about who is leaving the dirty mugs at the table, okay? And every time I say, you left the dirty mug. And he said, no, you left the dirty mug. And after that, he started to take pictures, okay, of every dirty mug I left on the table. And every time I went to the work, he sent me an SMS message with a picture of dirty mug on the table, okay? I was ready to kill him. I was like, why are you such an idiot? Okay, why you do that?
But that's wonderful, I think.
Yes, but after that I stopped leaving dirty mugs and
See, you see, it worked. It works. So he was right.
but he's ex-boyfriend, okay? So maybe it didn't work that well. So
Okay, my husband is also ex.
okay. Conflict is always, it seems that it doesn't matter how many people we have, 2 of us, 3 of us, 5 of us, we never have enough time to speak about all topics we decide to speak about. And unfortunately, our hour is up
Again and again.
and I still have a lot of questions to discuss. And any ideas? Unfortunately, Yoka, we didn't discuss with you about next. We didn't talk about next time when we have, yes, when we have a next speaking club, and we didn't discuss the topic for the next speaking club. Any ideas?
But do you have a lot of questions left for this topic? Maybe we'll continue next time. It's so interesting.
Okay, let's do that. We can continue, and maybe we'll have more people and more opinions. I will try
Yeah, why not?
to make a promotion on this topic more during the week. So what about next week? Today we had Tuesday. Ой, next week мне вообще не записано. Так. Ну, проведем.
Next.
Проведем.
Well, almost any day. Maybe.
Hey? Friday?
Maybe Friday.
Next.
Next Friday, right? The 2nd of June.
Yes. Is Friday good? Let's
Yeah.
do that at 11. 11? 11, okay?
11. Yeah.
Okay, so Friday, June 2nd at 11 o'clock, we will continue talking about conflicts. So it will be conflicts part 2. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
I will find some more articles about different types, how to resolve conflicts and something like that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. It was very nice talking to you. And now I feel like you are part of my family almost. I know so much about your interests, about your holidays, about your traveling, your food preferences, your conflict attitude, etc., etc. It's really nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
that's nice. Okay, thank you.
Goodbye. You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye bye.